Yeah, we doing good, squad. We doing good. Hey, man, go ahead and drop the cash so I can buy a load out real quick.
Nah, give me your cash.
Hey, man, drop the motherfucking cash so I can buy. Appreciate it.
Shit. Stand where you are and fight these pussy.
Hey, hold on.
Oh shit, we got a squad right there. They coming in. Oh, they saw me. Oh shit. I'm getting in. Oh, they clap my armor, dog. Hey, bro, come on, man. I'm down, bro. Yo, shout it. Come revive me, G. Dog, I need a revive, dog. Come revive me, man. I ain't got no more gulag. Bro, dog, where you at, nigga? I ain't got no more gulag. Dog, I ain't. You can't stand me. Go back to Fortnite, man. I can't stand playing with y'all.
What the hell is you doing? You stink walking, stink who the hell, little boy? Well, you know your boy just got the call to make the journey to the most savage planet. You did me pimping. Yes, sir. Like, bro, what? Oh, my God. You about to go eat some puss on the first date again, ain't you? You probably gonna eat the booty too, you nasty ass little boy. Well, you know, I can't tease her. I got to please her, okay? I mean, if I'm giving, then she got to be the receiver. You did me pimping. Okay, then shit, we in there like swimwear, dog. You feel? Bruh, don't you know about the CCs? Like the CCs? Like, what you mean? I gotta cop her some Chanel because she bad? Oh my God, I gotta teach these motherfuckers. The CCs, bruh. Corona and chlamydia. The CCs. Hey, bro, repeat this. I'm gonna go do what I got to do. You can sit your dry dick down the ass over there. I'm heading out that motherfucking door. I got to get mine. I got to do me. I'm sorry, G. Bro, please don't go. Bro, don't do it. The CCs, bro. Damn. That's all I got left on my dog.
Genuine.
Hey, what them games do with the benefits you already know. It's your country can't focus on the K-I-N-G, the Kane with the games and all that good like that there, little buddy. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Kaneland Bang. I'm about to put you on some game. Or at the very least, I'm about to put you on the game. A nice little indie spendy that you motherfuckers, I know for a fact you overlooked from back in January, because when I was streaming it live on Twitch, all my guys came through and was like, "Shouty, you playing this game? Wow." I'm like, bro, I got to play this game. I'm the king with the games is in the motherfucking name. It's the motto. But what I gotta let you know is that the game I was playing was fire. Low-key indie gem brought to us from Typhoon Studios and 505 Games. Big shouts out to Typhoon Studios. They were picked up by the Google Stadia development team, and now it's looking like, you know, typically how these big absorptions go with these conglomerates. We might not never hear from Typhoon Studios again, but I gotta say you guys did a phenomenal job with this game. Now, the basis of this game is if you took Devolver Digital, you know, Big Daddy Dick Devolver Digital, the same fine folks that brought us Hotline Miami 1 and 2, that brought us Ape Out, that brought us The Messenger, Katana Zero, my friend Pedro, not to mention the game back from 2017 that I didn't know nothing about till I went on the website looking up, doing some research, and they released the game, not made, but they released the game called Genital Jousting. Man, you heard me right. I said genitalia, justamelia. The protagonist was an uncircumcised penis with two testicles, two old testicles and an anus, and you went about his daily life in his quest to find true love. Now, I don't know if the uncircumcised penis ever found true love. I'm pretty sure if we could look back in the annals of history, no pun intended, you would assume that a couple uncircumcised penises have found true love. You know, watch out for that schmegma. But that's not the point. The point is, Devolver Digital has always been a really cool, dope-ass publisher. So, you take Big Daddy Dick Devolver Digital, and then on this side, you got one of the GameCube's most perennial, most ultimate, most fantastic franchises from back in the day, Metroid Prime. You know, that first-person action-adventure exploration game. You take that son of a bitch right there. You take Big Daddy Dick Devolver Digital. You know, Devolver Digital done walked on over to Samus Aran house. She done invited them over. She got that sexy Zero suit on. But boy, Devolver Digital done peeled the sexy Zero suit off. And then she like, "Come get it, Big Daddy." And they get the bang, 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 bang. And then, you know what comes out of that? A beautiful baby. And that baby's name is Journey to the Savage Planet. Roll that motherfucking B-roll, big dog. Yeah. Alright, so did you enjoy that motherfucking B-roll? I'm starting to call that shit G-roll. It worked. Not necessarily for gangster, but it is video. Anyway, fuck all that shit. Anyway, listen. Now I know probably by the gameplay footage, this game probably isn't piquing your interest because I know all my guys are too cool for school. I don't understand. Like, trust me when I tell you, you need to check out the game because it's flame. You got to believe in Shawty. I wouldn't steer you wrong, big dog. You know what I'm saying? You can't just play Call of Duty and 2K every day. Not to mention, there ain't too many big games coming out right now. Y'all still waiting on June the 19th for The Last of Us 2, and then sometime in July for Ghost of Tsushima. You got to say it, baby. Don't spread, baby. But until then, man, go and spend a couple dollars and check out this nice little indie game. Once again, Journey to the Savage Planet. Now let me give you a brief synopsis of the game. So basically the storyline is as goes. It's a dystopian future. The world is running out of resources and you know we need to find new planets to make new life or continue life as we know it. And of course in this dystopian future, the world is ruled by very rich and powerful conglomerates and mega corporations. And just lo and behold, you work for one of these mega corporations as a spaceman, as a spaceman. And as a spaceman, you do spaceman, spaceman type shit. So in this particular mission, your company, the fourth best in the fucking universe, I guess, or in the galaxy, however is labeled in the game, you get sent to a planet. I don't remember the name of the planet. It don't goddamn matter. It's a slightly hostile planet, but the corporation wants you to survey the planet. You gotta handle certain tasks and missions and avoid certain dangers and get upgrades and powers and cool shit at the order of your company. But of course, your ship crash lands, so you also got to figure out a way to get the resources to get your ship fixed so you can get back home to planet Earth or wherever the fuck you going. And of course, there's another big turn in the story about this big ass tower out in the middle of the planet. That's a big mystery that the corporation wants you to figure out what's going on in there too. So that's basically like the general guideline of the game. Don't get me wrong, this is not the narrative, crazy, deep story game that some of you may be looking for. But what this is a finely tuned action adventure platformer. It's really close, really in like a lighthearted lockstep to what the Metroid Prime series was. And that's why I went to mention that in the beginning. So you know what you're kind of getting into. Now once again, I repeat, the narrative isn't that deep. I go ahead and hit you with a spoiler. Spoiler alert, the ending ain't worth the fuck. I was very disappointed by the ending of the narrative. But the good part is along the way, the storyline, the dialogue is filled with a lot of really dark, humorous dialogue, kind of reminiscent of like late night Cartoon Network type of stuff, and a lot of, you know, animated media that we see these days that's kind of tuned for grown folks. The game's dialogue kind of falls along those lines. And I was really happy to see that, because this is one of the few games where I was actually like laughing at the fucking game. Like a lot of games try to be funny, but it really falls very motherfucking flat. Not this goddamn game. Like, don't get me wrong, you're not gonna be laughing out loud. You're not gonna be you're not gonna bust a gut, but you will get a couple of light chuckles, especially with the video messages that you get from your employer and the video advertisements that play your ship whenever you go back home. Another cool thing about these videos is that they're actual full motion video. They've done a fucking amazing job with the FMV work. I haven't seen FMV work in a game like this in a long time, outside of games kind of like what, Her Story or some shit, and those like real FMV adventure games. I haven't seen anything this goddamn polished and this damn funny and well acted and well directed in a while. While the story won't really win any awards and you won't be stuck with like great memories of the narrative experience, what you will get is a great ride to the finish with all this humorous content. Now the advertisements, there are a number of them, there are several of them, but it's not like a whole bunch. It won't last you through the whole game if you watch them back to back every time you're in your ship. And not to mention the other incidental dialogue in the game from your Siri-like AI smart assistant who is a smart ass, and the coded messages that you find. It's all written in the same humorous tone, that adult, off-brand, kind of dark humor, like I said, that you would find like on Cartoon Network and things of that nature. That is the story in a nutshell. While it won't win any awards, it will definitely 100% get you through the game. And once again, whoever fucking wrote this game, I need to go look at the goddamn credits, but I gotta give them boys kudos, them girls kudos for writing such great humorous dialogue in a small budget indie game. Now, speaking of a motherfucking small budget, well, hell, your boy got a little small budget, so you know what I'm saying, you can make me feel better about working on my small budget. You know, you hit that like button or something, you know what I'm saying, drop a comment or two in them down comments. I appreciate you. Back to that small budget comment I just made. I gotta say that the game really is quite a decent looking indie game, especially one that's in 3D. Now, don't get me wrong, you're not gonna find old high fidelity textures, nothing, no crazy particle effects, nothing that's gonna really blow your fucking mind. The game has a deliberate art style that's well executed throughout the majority of the game. The graphical presentation is clean cut, everything is communicated very well. You will rarely find a time where you can't decipher what the fuck is going on in the environment. You will see a number of alien objects that you don't know what the hell they're there for until you get the upgrade, but once you know what they're there for, you will know exactly what it is when you see it. I love it when a developer, comes up with an art style, sticks to it, and uses their resources effectively. You can tell not nan resource was wasted here. Every blade of grass, every rock cliff face, every new biome that you enter, it's all well designed. Everything has intent, everything has purpose. You will feel like you're on an alien landscape. You will feel like you're thrust into the midst of some new crazy shit. You will kind of feel like you're on a journey through a savage planet. Even though the game doesn't present itself very savagely, it's not super ultra violent. It's really, cartoony, cartoon graphic violence, but it serves the game well and it does fit with the theme, and it does once again evoke GameCube Metroid Prime graphics. Like seriously, this almost makes me think of like if Metroid Prime was a remaster for the Switch. And when I say remaster, not like remade, but like, updated graphics, some enhanced visuals, and a higher resolution. That's pretty much what Journey to the Savage Planet delivers, and it's solid, man. The UI is pretty clean. The upgrade system is very understandable. The text reading is clear, concise. Once again, the voice acting is really decent. It really delivers. I don't know where the fuck these guys came from. I'm pretty sure they have some kind of pedigree. There's no way a brand new team would have been able to make something this goddamn solid on their first go around. So great job in the audio visual department, bar none, for your first out in Typhoon Studios. We appreciate you. Let's delve into the gameplay portion. Now, the gameplay, I gotta admit, it's a very, very tight gameplay loop. You can tell that Typhoon Studios went in and reiterated, refined, iterated, refined, iterated, refined to make a real consistent gameplay experience. No fluff, no extra bull crap. Your map ain't gonna be filled with 1,000 points of interest. They kept it streamlined, so I appreciated that. We got a lot of games that's open world, big sandboxes that's trying to eat up way too much of your boy time. And it was nice and refreshing to have a game like this that just allowed me to go in, enjoy the gameplay, and enjoy the experience. So in essence, the gameplay kind of boils down into a simple formula of, you get your new point of interest, you go, you do some adventuring, you do some exploration, you find what you're looking for, then boom, you keep progressing further, deeper into the story, deeper into the world. Now, like I said before, the gameplay really is a streamlined version of what you would see like in Metroid Prime or other first-person action exploration games. You basically start off with your simple basic gear. You of course are going to upgrade over time. You got your basic little piece, your pistol that will eventually upgrade with charge abilities and does more damage. You start off with like low health, low stamina, but throughout the game you will, if you explore enough, find upgrades to max those out and become a more powerful specimen, a more powerful spaceman. Now, an awesome thing about this game is that everything is doled out at a finely tuned pace. Like as soon as things start to get kind of samey, kind of rote, they hit you with a new upgrade. You can jump higher, you can float in the air, you can ride magnetic rails, you come smashing down on fools. They really do a great job of giving you the upgrades at a great pace, continuing the story at a great pace, and introducing new environmental hazards and enemies and new biomes at a really, really fucking fine-tuned pace. Like I said, as soon as you start to get a little bored, new shit opens up and you're like, okay, I'm back in here. I'm back on the adventure. I'm liking the way the story is progressing. I just got a new email from my boss. He talking mad shit. I found some new collectibles that's interesting to look at. I'm on the cusp of upgrading this weapon or this item that I've been wanting to upgrade. Let's just keep it going at a great rate. Like I said, even though the game is simple, it's designed at a very high level of expertise. I gotta look at some of the backgrounds of the people that made this game, because I know this can't be their first game. Everything's too tight, everything's too well positioned. Of course, the game starts off simple, kind of sparse biomes, not too many enemies. Really, in the beginning, you don't even encounter enemies. You encounter these cute little fat little puffer birds that like just to eating and farting, shitting all over the place. And Yeah, I didn't just make that up for the video. If you feed them a particular item, not only will they fart out poop, but they also will fart out some mats that you need to upgrade some of your components. And that's probably something I should comment on, because you can tell the game is designed with a great ecosystem. Everything kind of feeds into each other throughout the whole entirety of the game. And that's the point that can't be missed. Now, even though none of these elements are new to gaming, they won't set your world on fire. They're great. They're well designed. They're crafted perfectly for this game. You can tell there was a lot of TLC put into every element. The game really offers like a simple back and forth feedback loop of weapon upgrade, ability upgrade, new environment, weapon upgrade, ability upgrade, new environment. And they keep ping-ponging that back and forth to keep it fresh, keep it interesting. I love every time I was getting ready to get that new upgrade and then having to decide, do I want more jump power? Do I want more dash power? Do I want more combat prowess? Basically, if you're an action game person like myself who loves the good action mixed with some light RPG elements, this is gonna be the indie game for you. Nothing made me happier than when I was on the cusp of getting that new upgrade and then trying to decide whether or not to increase my dash power, my jump power, or the power of my gun. Speaking of the gun combat, it's all fairly simple, nothing too complicated. Where the complication comes in at is you mixing your gunplay with your ability play. And while the gun stays pretty simple, like I said, you get the upgrade to make it charge and do more damage in a bigger clip, so you won't have to reload as often. Where the real fun comes in at is all the side items that you find that you get to keep in the game. From the food supplement grab that you get to throw out as bait to lure enemies, to the little amorphous booger looking blob thing that you throw down to create a jump pad. And of course, you got the typical bomb glove and bomb plant that you throw out to really blow shit up and destroy the environment. All that stuff really culminates into a fun gameplay experience if you want to experiment with different items. Now, you have to keep up with how many items you have on deck, because you have to farm those items out in the real world. But besides that, it's always a good time if you're willing to go above and beyond the Call of Duty to, you know, just enjoy some of the shit that's on offer in the gameplay. But once again, a smart design decision is that you don't have to if you don't want to. If you just want to shoot your way through and dodge and dash and then shoot some more, you can do that. If you want to throw down bombs and throw down sticky webs to really disable the enemies, then you can do that. It's all there for you. They gave you plenty of options to expand your gameplay experience. Great job. Another great job that they did was the level design. As you go into different biomes and new environments, it's always this cool, fresh experience because you get to see a different aspect of this alien planet. It kind of starts off with your typical grass and greenery or your snow and ice, and then you start to get into more fantastical elements that you want to see in real life. Like I mentioned before, the mag rails that you get to attach to and slide and jump, and floating islands with floating octopus killer creatures and all kinds of weird cool shit. Not to mention there are a lot of dope boss fights that you're going to get into. Once again, well designed. It's interesting. It's not just your typical arena combat scenario. It typically involves you using a particular item or a particular maneuver, also dealing with a lot of platforming in the midst of these combat scenarios, from running into scenarios where you think you might need an upgrade to be able to progress through the level, when in actuality you need to think about what's going on in your environment. For instance, there's a situation where there are some gated doors that don't really require any abilities to get through these gates, but you got to use enemies and creatures in the environment to feed the door to be able to get through. And it's pretty cool because when you get there, you're like, oh shit, I guess I'm stuck. Turn back around, gotta find something else. But in actuality, you need to use your brain, kids. Use that shit in between your ears and think about your scenario, put some work in, make it happen, and then you get to progress forward, and it feels good. You get a constant sense of satisfaction in this game as you find the secrets, which are a lot of them well hidden. There are some secret alien items in the game that you have to figure out how to open up. I don't want to spoil it right now in this video, but it's kind of interesting. You basically have to feed the machine, if you will, and I'll leave it at that. But there's a lot of cool elements like that if you want to get all the collectibles in the game to 100% it, you're gonna have to figure those kind of things out. And they do a good job of making it not too vague, not too obtuse. You know, a lot of things you're meant to kind of accidentally figure out, but you can tell that it wasn't an accident that it was designed that way. Smart shit, good shit. I enjoyed it. And I will also be an asshole not to mention that there's some co-op gameplay available if you do have somebody you want to play this game with. Now, unfortunately for me, I wasn't able to get into the co-op because I don't know anybody in my real life that would even deign to play a game like this, unfortunately. But I can imagine being in certain scenarios to where one person could focus on attack, one person could focus on sneaking around and doing the late night tip shit in the back end while you kind of draw the enemy's attention. I'm pretty sure all that shit is also well designed and well implemented, even though I wasn't able to test it out. From a couple videos I've seen online, it seems pretty fun and pretty interesting. If you can find somebody that wants to dive into this game with you. All being told, the gameplay design from combat to level design is really pretty good, and like I said before, it all feeds into each other. I like the fact that the level design is kind of like stacked. When you get there, you're kind of in the middle, and then as you get more abilities, you start to go up higher and venture to new places. You get more abilities that allow you to venture deeper into the planet. You know, it's really good. It's very smart. The game is very smart. If you have that kind of eye for gaming, you will see a lot of decisions that were made during development that will lead you to believe that these developers are very smart, and I can see why they got picked up by the Google Stadia team. No doubt. Now, I know I've been praising the hell out of this game, probably giving you the impression that it's like a 10 out of 10 perfect. No, it's definitely not perfect. The game is kind of sparse. Even though there are interesting elements in there, there's not really a lot going on. There's not that many enemy types. If you don't count all the variations, there are probably 10 different enemy types. There aren't any new weapons besides your typical pea shooter, so you won't be, you know, coming through with an assault rifle type of gun or a chain gun type of gun or a rocket launcher, none of that shit. You'll still be banging it out with your little old pistola, your little old Nerf gun like gun. But it's solid, and you can tell it was intentional design. Everything's designed around you having this limited inventory, so you don't have to worry about feeling like, oh shit, they put me in these fucked up limited scenarios. Nah, you don't got to worry about that. They got you covered. The game was designed with intent. It's appreciated, but of course you always wish there was more going on. That's any game. Outside of just people just giving you more tasks to do, it's always cool to get new items, new upgrades to, you know, transform that experience even more so than it already is. Another problem with the game that I had is that the game starts off kind of slow, and then the midpoint it gets very interesting, and then towards the end it gets kind of redundant, not as interesting. There are no new elements being thrown your way. It just kind of makes new challenges that you have to figure out as far as you know, kind of like environmental puzzle type things, but outside of that they don't really give you more, and it was kind of disappointing. You know, towards the end of the game I started to feel the endiness, I started to feel the budget, I started to feel like the kind of flat feel of the game. I think that's due in part to my obsession with trying to get the game to 100% completion. I really don't do that in most games, but I kind of saw the light at the end of the tunnel with this game. I probably overstayed my welcome a little bit. I feel like maybe if you just, you know, go through the game, get the upgrades that you find, get the secrets that you see that you can get access to, and then continue playing the game, I think maybe a faster experience through the story, through the gameplay will probably suit you better than the way I played it. Yeah, I think I just stayed in the environments for too long. I think I kept going back and forth trying to find the secrets, to the point where I started once again to see the budget, see the limitations of the game. For real, if you just go through, not saying just blast through, but if you go through as you get your upgrades, as you get your secrets, and as you beat the bosses, and you just go through and get the story over with, you will find more enjoyment overall than I did, even though I'm looking at it with a critical eye. And speaking of going through the bosses, the end game is kind of trash. That was the biggest letdown completely for this game. Not only do they set you up at the beginning of the game with this grand story of like what's in the tower, what's the mystery, you got to get in that tower and figure it out. Once you get into the tower, it's like, this some bullshit. Like, I wouldn't even lie to you, man. When I got into the tower, I was expecting something great and grand, and it starts off with like an interesting, like, oh shit, nigga, it done got real here, fam. And then once you get in there, it's kind of like, oh, this janky, dog. This doo-doo. I'm ready to get this over with. And I kind of get disappointed when games do that. They put so much, not necessarily that this game front loaded all of its content, it kind of mid loaded most of its content. But once you get to that end game, I guarantee you, you're gonna just be ready for it to be over. The story doesn't wrap up in an interesting way. The last encounter is not interesting at all. It's kind of like the most basic boss fight in the game. And that was just a big letdown. I guess at that point, they kind of were running out of ideas, kind of running out of steam, and kind of like how I was ready to move on from the game, they probably were ready to move on from the project. At least that's how it felt. Like, there's some puzzle encounters at the end game that are kind of bad. It's like, what the fuck am I doing? And you're trying to figure it out, and then you do get it figured out, and trying to hunt the secrets in that area as well is kind of trash. And they kind of do, they make the mistake that a lot of games make, where they try to throw a bunch of shit at you to make it seem like, oh, you're in the intense end game, big dog. Whereas instead of making a fun experience, they kind of made it frustrating, and I was let down by the end. Now, after the end of the gameplay, I enjoyed the wrap up with all the dialogue and the message from your CEO. Like, all that was still good, so you don't have to worry about that aspect. You will enjoy that part of the ending. But as far as the gameplay side of things, it was kind of like a little wet fart at the end, and I didn't appreciate it. I didn't appreciate the end game of Journey to the Savage Planet, but it is what it is. All right, so let me go ahead and wrap it up with some pros and cons of the game. So some of the pros, The game looks great and performs great for what it is. It is a budget indie title, not like a super cheap budget, but it is, you know, it's not a AAA experience. But I can say I ran the game for the most part at 1440p, 120 frames per second. It ran smooth as butter. I did play a small portion of the game in 4K 60, ran smooth as butter still. Now mind you, I do have a 2080 Ti and an i7 7700K, so your mileage may vary on the PC side of things. The game is well optimized. I think I ran into like one bug where I kind of like got stuck in an environment or something happened. I can't really remember, but that's how bug free this game is, that I can only recall one bug and I can barely even recall what the fuck the bug even was. So yeah, the game runs great, looks great. The art design, they really stuck to it. Everything's humorous, everything stays on theme, from the FMV cutscenes to the dialogue to the voice acting to the enemy designs to the world design. Everything is well curated and it sticks to the art style, sticks to the vision that the developers had for this game. Now next, I gotta tip my hat to the gameplay portion. Everything's streamlined, everything's focused, everything is intentful. They knew what they were setting out to do and they went and did it. Like, you can't be mad at that. We got so many games that's like just overblown, overbloated with bullshit that's unnecessary to the gameplay experience. It's all very empty, not fulfilling. Pretty much most of the content in this game is fulfilling. The places you go, the enemies that you see, the encounters that you have, the puzzles that you need to solve, it's all very satisfying and it's all very, very just tight. Like I said in the beginning, it's tight. It's tight. If it ain't tight, it ain't right. You know what I'm saying? And they stuck to their guns and made a real solid experience. Great job. The upgrade system is great. It's simple. It's understandable. You know what you're going to get. You know what you need to go for. You know what you need to collect. Nothing's really made super vague, super obtuse. You're going to know what you need to do to get the job done, and I can appreciate that. And while the upgrade system is simple, there's a lot to it. And like I said, if you don't want to 100% collect everything in the game, you can still build a very powerful character. And even though the upgrade system is simple, there's quite a few avenues you can take with your character. If you decide not to 100% the game, you still will have a very potent character. Towards the end, you will be able to do everything. Obviously, the main upgrades are tied to the story, so you can't miss those at all. Most of the upgrades are to like enhance those powers that you already have, enhance your inventory size, things like that. So if you do get most of the upgrades, it will make the game a lot more streamlined. Speaking of 100% in the game, this has got to be like one of the easiest games to 100%. Not that easy as in like baby mode. Once again, they don't do things to get in your way with the gameplay, and I love it. Like, they don't try to impede your progress. They just try to give you an interesting, fun adventure game to level up and do your thing in. And thank you so much, Typhoon. It was truly a refreshing experience for your boy after playing all the hardcore games I've been playing lately, where they just kind of try to get in your fucking way and piss you off. Whereas this game is like, man, have fun, enjoy the ride, big dog. And I thank you so much for that. Now, on to the con side of things, there's not really too many to really talk about. Like I said, the story towards the end of the game is kind of a letdown. It's kind of lackluster. It's kind of flat. It actually was kind of disappointing because it fell into the trap of being like real basic bitch type shit, like something you would see in pretty much every game ever made. And I really thought they were going to be going in a different direction, and they didn't. So that was a letdown, but it was cool. Like, the ride was enjoyable. The story was enjoyable. The dialogue was enjoyable. I can't hate them too much for it. But it just felt like they were ready to wrap up the game, ready to wrap up the story. They didn't really want to do too much to like fuck the budget up. I got a feeling, especially looking at how the beginning of the game was, I got a feeling that there was going to be more to the ending that we didn't get to, probably due to time constraints and budget constraints. Now, another con that kind of aligns with my theory of the budget and time constraints is the game kind of gets flat towards the end. The game gets less interesting. Like, the beginning of the game is simple because it's trying to introduce you into the mechanics of the new world, the new universe. The middle of the game is great. There's a lot of variety, a lot of places to go, a lot of things to see. The end of the game that you're expecting to be like this big, you know, epic conclusion, epic climax, you don't get that gameplay or story wise. And like I said, it was a letdown. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't really mar the game too much. Maybe I spent too much time in the game trying to get the 100% collectibles. Still, I was hoping for more, and more wasn't there. Slight disappointment. Like, really, that's truly about it, man. Like, you honestly can't go wrong for this game. Like, I highly recommend the purchase. If you can catch it on sale, you should cop it. If you have somebody to play with, it's probably even more fun with a co-op partner, you know, like a real friend. Where my real friends at, I don't know. At least not in the gaming world. Not to mention, there's some DLC content that I have not played and I probably won't play. Not that I'm not interested. I just don't think I want to delve back into the game that badly to where I want to purchase the DLC. But it seems like they got some new cool upgrades and abilities that unfortunately you can't take back to the main game, which I understand because it would totally break the game. If you pick up the game and you really enjoy it and you want some more, they got the DLC out there for you. But I still highly recommend the whole package. It's a great time. I enjoyed myself. If you're looking for a Metroid Prime-ish game like Metroid Prime like 1.5 and a half or some shit to hold you over until whenever Metroid Prime 4 comes out, I think this is a good supplement. And I enjoyed my time with the game, so it definitely gets the shouty seal of approval. I don't really have a seal of approval, but goddamn it, if I had one, this game would get it. And you know what else would get a shouty seal of approval, man? You know, if you hit that like button, you drop a comment or two in the comment section. You know, if you truly enjoyed the content, share my shit. And if you super truly enjoy the content, hit that motherfucking subscribe button. You know your boy Shawty appreciate it. But anyway, man, cop the game. I don't think you'll be mad at me if you did. And with that being said, man, you know how I go. Games, tech, success, fuck else you need. And I'm out there, bitch. You have a great day. Yeah.